The touch of your hand makes me tremble within. Love the smell of your hair.
Man, feeling well, man.
What's your name?
My name is Cardi Cornish.
And you a legend?
I'm a legend.
You're a legend here in Baltimore City. Where we at right now?
We live in the 17, Pennsylvania Avenue. The legendary Pennsylvania Avenue.
Man, the last time I saw you here, you were doing something just across the street here. What were you doing?
Oh yeah, I had some food left over from an event. We brung it out. We fed a couple of people, man.
Why you do that?
Nice soul food. Huh?
Why you do that?
Man, the love that God has shown me in Christ, man, it overflows. That's how it overflows.
That's right.
We got more than we can use.
Already was high within San Antonio Winchester community, but the age group is getting younger. Children under the age of 18 being murdered in San Antonio has a high peak right now. So our goal is to catch the children.
You going hard, man. You going hard on that man today. So what do you think, Mr. Mayor? You got manufacturing right here, helping our young people despite all of the challenges in the city of Baltimore, right here on North Avenue.
No, it's really about the growth. Just knowing where, being there when they were down in Fort Covington and seeing how far it's grown. Like you said earlier, like getting the Soul Bay, you know, where we got the Soul Bay at the beginning, but now being able to, when I'm at Cannon Yards, get it, or anytime I'm down at Harbor Place to get it, and folks to not even know, but they gonna know now that like this is coming from young people in West Baltimore, right there in West Baltimore on North Avenue, where they think nothing great comes from, but they can see it in what the young people do.
It's the things that you do.
Here on the planet of Mississippi, with our very dear friend Floyd Matthews. A beautiful town, just leaving Algiers, which is an update 10 years since Katrina.
It's a smile on your face. And as time goes by, I know I'm in a better place. I'm in a better place.
All right, y'all, this is what I came to New York for. Besides the Black Wall Street Awards, we're going in here and get some of this real good jerk chicken. Johnny Glover, out.
Your skin, just the touch of your hand makes me tremble within.
But we need to feed our loved ones. DOTS needs to rescind this package policy program so that our loved ones are able to eat every day in that filthy facility that
we have some stars in the building.
First name's Doni, last name's Glover, entered the winning for the long haul. Baby! Michael Haynie.
Hey, good morning, Doni.
Michael Haynie, how long do you think this president is going to be able to do this foolishness? How long? I don't see it going, but so far, I don't see what they say, not a good look. This man is rolling back civil rights legislation. I mean, he's really polarizing this country. And let me just say, I have seen some white people, some decent white people, speak up about it. I'm not discouraged. I do not think the worst. I've never seen anything like this. But you know, you're like a year or two older than me. Are you, I mean, I'm hearing from a lot of people dismay. They're disheartened. They're saddened. But my faith won't allow me to let this clown mess up my day. sorry, not sorry. I just don't see how far he's going to go. And I know that God is in charge. I think, as they say down south, he's finna get his hind parts whipped.
Well, it depends on how you look at it, Donnie. First of all, good morning to your viewers, man. And, thank you, viewers, for supporting Donnie, for listening to Donnie's channel, because that's what it's truly all about, us having this conversation about what we're having about on a media platform such as this. Make no mistake that these are conversations we need to have on our own platforms, in spite of people that Donnie said that are white that are even taken aback, because you got to take a look at it, Donnie. 82 million people voted for this guy. So, we're feeling polarized. We're feeling a certain way. But the same sense of it, half of the voting population in this state supported him. So here's where we are. We don't lose faith in ourselves. We don't lose faith in our mission. Maybe our ask become different, because he'll go as far as he's allowed to go with the Supreme Court that he has put more than half on, with a House and a Senate that is aligned with his party. He's just told the Colombians to send in a jet, which they agreed to do before he deported them in a different way, right? And put tariffs on their country, right? He also has extricated all of the attorneys that were in various state departments and various departments throughout the federal government. Even his own Republican senators and Congress people said, hey, Mr. President, you can't do this without executive order, but Donald Trump can do what he wants to do, man. And what does it mean to us as a threat, as a people? It only means what we allow it to mean if we continue to focus on what he's doing and what we need to do in anticipation of what he's doing, because we shouldn't be surprised that he's here. Because it isn't about Donald Trump. It's about the people that supported him, that live in our communities and live around us, man. We shouldn't be surprised.
So many thoughts come to mind. So there's been this leak about Elon Musk and Mark Zuckerberg playing with the machines. Did you catch that?
I heard something about that, man. I mean, you talking about the voting machines?
Yeah, the way the votes were counted. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think what really they're saying is that Meta platform, the platform that they try to extricate you and I off of and do all sorts of things where we put the wrong keywords in there, etc., that they use their platforms to twist voters' perception, just like they said the Russians did back in the 2020 election, the 2016 election. Make no mistake that Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, Elon Musk, and a bunch of the other corporate people, even McDonald's and Burger King, align with this guy because they know he's the guy with power. He's the guy with the money. He controls the money. He controls the power.
Does he really?
With him. Yeah, he does. No doubt about it.
We're not giving him too much credit.
What we're doing is that we're giving him a huge amount of credit for manipulating the system and twisting the system. He's almost like Jim Jones, the guy that had people drink Kool-Aid. Remember that?
Jones.
With his people, not with mine, because I didn't drink the Kool-Aid. All I say is, hey, man, he's there, so let me see what I can get. I just have to change my ask. Maybe my ask are different with Joe Biden versus what my ask should be with Donald Trump. Hey, Donald, listen, man, just cut me off a piece. Let me go in my neighborhood. You go in your neighborhood, and we should be good. Matter of fact, why don't you give me kind of the same deal that we gave the Indians, except I don't want 37 million acres of untenable, unfarmable land. Give me a couple of states, a couple of cities. Let's make separate but equal a doctrine that we all can live with, Donald.
And then there's this thing about Canada. In all of my life, I have never heard an American president start something with Canada.
Well, Donald Trump is.
Who starts a fight with Canada?
It's North America. He's saying North America includes Canada, so therefore
it does.
Canada should be part of us. That's what he's saying.
And they said, No. As a matter of fact, we don't want your liquor anymore, among other things. We don't want your cars. Who goes messing with their neighbor? If you don't get along with your neighbor, just leave them alone.
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What did Putin do? What is Ukraine war about? What's the Gaza Israel war about? It's all about neighbors and neighborhood and territory. You know, Donald Trump has a stronger military. Not saying it'll go that way, but what I'm saying is that the argument that he's making, when you look at Taiwan, when you look at Gaza, when you look at Ukraine, it's not anything that's different than North and South Korea that's happening here. It's just a matter that we're baffled because it's happening here.
Not baffled, astonished that no one has stopped this person. Who messes with Canada? You ever been to Canada?
Sure.
Beautiful land.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm not saying they have a perfect system, but they do have health care for all. Who starts a
significant amount of Caribbean Africans in Toronto, in Montreal.
And for black people, remember, that's where Harriet Tubman, that was like the first freedom bastion, crossing that Niagara River. Everybody goes to Niagara Falls, but you ever look at Niagara River and the crossing of it, that Africans escaping enslavement crossed that long, wide river. Some drowned. They got all the way up there and had to cross that river. I've seen that river.
Donnie, you ever heard the old adage that in order to win, sometimes you got to surrender?
Yeah.
Sometimes you fight for the wrong purpose. Sometimes give up the fight. Let them have, Donald Trump, for all that we talk about and what's happening. So we look at the correlating effect of him in the state of Maryland where we live. We talk about the Tapsco and the ship and the bridge being down. We talk about programs related to immigrations. We talk about the social programs that people are afraid of that are going to be ending as a result of federal money that we get. And now we have to figure out another way, right? But sometimes you just got to surrender to the fact of people's ignorance, man, and look at a different fight and a different argument. And that's what we as a people, as black people, have to do, man. We're giving this guy so much time and attention having this conversation versus having conversations about what our strategies and what we could be doing as a result of the environment that we're in today.
Well, I'm glad you said
maybe more productive.
I'm glad you said that, because that's exactly where my mindset is. Thank God for this person, because it's making black people who thought they had arrived realize the truth, that at the end of the day, you're still black.
Well, Donnie, hear what you just said, making black people think today that we have not arrived. Well, if we had arrived, then we wouldn't be thinking that we didn't arrive today. So we didn't arrive during the Joe Biden administration. We didn't arrive during the Clinton administration. We didn't arrive during the Barack administration, because arriving means is that you have a foundation and a pillar of strength. You know what I'm saying? So maybe our eyes are open to the fact, you know what I'm saying? But,
we arrived. When we did this, that was arrived.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is for all of those people who say black people don't stick together. This is for all of those black people to say, oh, black people, this, you ever run across some people who ain't got nothing good to say about black people? Always looking at somebody else's grass, always looking at somebody else's ice. We have our own. We have our own. And it's right here. It's the mentality. $1.6 trillion in annual disposable income. We can do anything. I got something for you, Mike. We, the willing, led by the unknowing, are doing the impossible for the ungrateful. We have done so much for so long with so little that we are now qualified to do anything with nothing. We've been looking outside of ourselves. If anything, Trump has made us look in and remember who we are. There was a guy who should take me to the radio station named Kevin. Knew him from Moreland Avenue. And every time I drop me off at EAA, at OLB, and every time he dropped me off, he say, "Hey, Donnie, remember who you are." This world can have us forget who we are.
Who are you?
I'm a child of God.
I'm a human being who happens to be Michael, who happens to be a hotelier, who happens to be in training as a result. But one thing that we have to constantly remind our fellow brothers, particularly, that we aren't what we do. And that way, if we remind them that we aren't what we do, when what we do is taken away from us, then we don't lose ourselves and stick a gun to our head. When we don't lose the DEI and we don't lose the social program that you mentioned, $1.2 trillion, right? That $1.6 trillion allows us.
Do you feel slighted with this DEI thing? Do you feel like you're losing something?
I don't.
And if anything, see, this is how moronic this thought is. So there's this assumption that DEI brings unqualified people to the table. If you've been black for 5 minutes, then you know you can't be dependent on DEI, affirmative action, or anything else. You know, if you're black and in America, you're going to get it one way, generally speaking. You're going to earn it. You're going to make it from grit and grind, from getting up every day like the single mother, like the single father, like the married mother, like the married father. You're going to get out there on your grind and bring home that bacon. That DEI might come along. Do you know how many black people waiting on DEI? See, that's the idiocy of this person. Are you waiting on DEI?
It's a mindset, Donnie. It's a mind game. It's a matter
like
of not that
thing.
it's not a matter that it's taking anything away from us, but the headlines and the soundbite says Trump eliminates diversity, equity, and inclusion programs and managers across the country, furloughs them, puts them on paid leave as of Friday last week, ended the program. So as a result of that soundbite, Black people think, if they're not thinking like you and I, because we're educating them on this platform, they think as though we're going backwards. We're only going backwards if that's what we think. We're not going backwards. We're right where we are. Matter of fact, we can take it and leverage ourselves. You said we have $1.some trillion in an economy that's last in the number of dollars that circulate within it. So is a better strategy to have conversations about how we take that $1.2 trillion and keep it flowing
1.6.
within our economy. $1.6 trillion. How do we keep that flowing within our own economy?
That's like
create our own infrastructure, create our own jobs.
That's like the 15th largest economy on earth.
No doubt about it.
We can put anybody in business or out of business. So as
I talk about it all the time. You got a guy like Ricky Smith, right, at BWI Airport. I was just in and out of there. I'd go in and out of the airport 80, 90 times a year, right? Here I have a Black man flying jets all over the country, making them land on time, cleaning snow off of runways, hundreds and thousands of vendors within, cleaning, security, the whole 9 yards. A city this Black man is running, right? Now, what kind of talent do we have to create our own cities outside of that and our own economies, to keep it circulating? You mentioned Black Wall Street. You showed your book, right? You showed your book when we were thriving back in the 30s and 40s. Here we are in the 21st century, not even equal to what we were back in the 20th century. You know what I'm saying? Our asks have to be different and our measurements, right? So why do we need to infiltrate and integrate in a society aspect of society that doesn't want us.
At least
I
half.
always talk.
At least half of them act like they don't want us. And then,
well,
I got to put this out there. I'm sorry.
Once you pour chocolate into milk, whether you pour a little bit or a whole lot, it's going to change the color of the milk, right? And the only thing
the milk was never white. That's what I'm trying to tell you. It was never white. But the
point of it is whether you take half of them that want it or all of it, still pollutes the environment against us. We have to create our own.
Oh, the milk was originally black.
Then they pass
lighter and lighter over time.
I understand that. I understand it, but that my point wasn't in that. It was in the theory that whether it's half of them or some, as you said earlier, of white people that are disturbed, once it is what it is, it is.
I got to talk about these disturbed people who operate, and this comes from a white friend.
Disturbed people.
Yeah, disturbed white people. These are people who come from a mindset of lack. Your mother, your father, my mother, my father, did they operate from a standpoint of lack?
Mine didn't.
No, neither did mine. They were about to get up and go get it.
Go get it, man.
I was raised with the mindset of abundance.
Some days were better than others, but we got up.
Oh, I've seen a food stamp. I've also seen the
inside
of the White House.
Go out. I saw electricity go out, come back on. We're resilient. We're resilient people.
Go out, come back on. That's right. Off, then back on. I even know people that can wire it themselves.
You know what I want to
pay
talk
a bill
about?
Again.
Absolutely, man. I want to talk about, so Ricky Smith could be mayor or governor or president, right? Why can't we have our own election as 13% of the population, 40,000 million people, have our own election for our own president, overseeing our own demographics, our own economy? Hey, now just break a false peace. Give us our percentage of taxes. Let us create our own economy. You all, if you want to go there, if Doni wants to go work with them, so be it. That's his choice. But short of that, the foundation of this country for Black people would be their own economy, their own form of government, separate but equal. Those are the conversations that we need to talk about. Civil rights as theoretical conversation of civil rights since 1963, 64. Here we are discussing the same thing and it being dismantled. So maybe our conversations have to change. We have to think differently in terms of what rights mean and what equality means.
Well, I don't know, Mike. You got some African Americans who don't like poor Black people.
Well, let them go and do
Dr. Zalikoff said it on this show. A lot of us don't like poor Black people. But let me tell you the reality of Sandtown. You know what I see when I look out that window? Poor white people.
Infiltrating a community to turn it from poor to poor white people and Black
There's
people.
There's a white boy standing on the corner as the lookout for the dope man.
Yeah.
Right now.
It lets you know they get ready to gentrify. They get ready to gentrify. Had the red line gone through, Doni, you would be seeing white people
see Fox 45 there and they're talking about this white guy standing on the corner as the lookout, like they did the squeegee kids.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can say some things to Mackenzie Frost that Brandon Scott can't.
What can you say to her?
Go get a pedicure and leave people alone. Put that mic in her face. Hey, Ron, cut your camera on. We need a coffee break. Mike Haynie's got a disgruntled look on his face.
Oh man, I'm good. You got Rod Easter. Last time with Rod, we were smoking counterfeit Cubans. He told me I had cigars at his place.
he told you that?
Yeah, man. He went up and put a camera up and looked at my Cuban cigars and said these are counterfeit. And I haven't bought any since. I wasn't offended. I was embarrassed.
But Mike, good morning. I got embarrassed the same way. But I thank the guy now that he exposed that to me so I didn't look like a fool later on.
Yeah, that's what I said. I just said the same thing, man. Good morning to you, man. Thank you so much. It's all about education.
Could y'all tell the difference?
I knew.
He could.
Yeah, I knew.
No,
I had a feeling anything that's too good to be true usually is.
Right.
And that just showed me at my stage in life at that point. Rod showed me, Mike, it's still the old adage, anything that is too good to be true usually is.
Rod, who's that young lady on the wall behind you?
My mother.
This is mother.
Yeah, that's mom.
That's
you
right.
don't see dad in the picture?
Move it over a little bit.
Well, it's on the wall. It's a big.
Yeah, you have to just adjust the camera.
You got to
to the left a little bit.
There
we go. There you go. See, that's a beautiful wall. Remember in the old days, it used to be John Kennedy and Martin Luther King.
And
now we got mom and dad.
And white Jesus.
Yeah, I can't do it for some reason.
A white Jesus in between.
Don't forget the white Jesus.
Yeah.
Look how far we've come. Everybody knows Jesus was black. Did you know Santa Claus was black?
Did who know?
I didn't know that there was a Santa Claus.
No, my dad was black.
No, Saint Nicholas was a black man from Turkey. I keep telling you.
I was listening to Geno Jennings before Christmas talking to black people about fooling their kids with the white man's foundation of marketing to believe that anybody shimmy down chimney with toys after you made your hard money and giving them credit that was the most ungodly, sinful thing that we could do as a people.
No, the most ungodly thing is when you take it away and say, ain't no Santa Claus. That was the smack in the face. I'd have told you a lie for 9 years.
So if we sitting there talking about Santa Claus, right? Then how are we going to sit here and justifying Santa Claus and our hard money with our kids? Now all of a sudden we're going to try to justify Trump and think that he ain't real? Come on, man. So we got to begin to change the narrative and stop believing our own crap and fooling our own selves to understand what this man does us.
Hold up, Rod. You got some something on your hand? You got some dirt on your hand? What's going on?
That's a city ring.
Is that a poly ring?
Is that poly?
Y'all make me pull out guns on it and start shooting my screen up.
I thought that was city. White people, white females, brown people, and the disabled will also be impacted by DEI. I don't understand how they're going to be impacted by DEI. If they were born before DEI and were crippled before DEI and were brown and black before DEI, they'll be just as they were after DEI. It's a matter of what they want to do. See, this is the trick. That question goes to the trick. See, what they're really talking about with their company is the money that was out there as a result of it that has been cut. Because a lot of black people made a lot of money being suckered and bamboozled into DEI. We had black people doing DEI. What the heck are you doing? I'm going to train black people in diversity, equity, and inclusion. Oh, my God.
No, they wanted to train white people. They wanted to train white people.
No, they was training black people, man. The money was out there pointless. I even got a little bit of it. There wasn't nobody in my audience white training and learned about DEI. It was like pointing the mirror to yourself, man. It was a farce.
Okay, hey, Rod, how you been? How you dealing with this new era of politics? And let me back up. Congratulations. I know today is a special day, and I'll let you unfold that as you will, if you will.
Yeah.
What kind of special day? Is it Christmas?
39 years clean today.
Oh yeah. Hey, well, that's heavy. That's so Rod and I had that conversation because this year will be 39 years for me too, and October 31st.
39 years.
39 years, Rod. Now that is big. That is huge. That's almost better than the day you were born. But you had to be born in order to be able to get that day. You were born again 39 years ago.
That's a reborn. That's a reborn. Absolutely. And, you know, it's like it's when I tell people that I haven't had a drink, that I haven't had a snort, that I haven't put a needle in my arm, I haven't smoked a pipe in 39 years.
Almost 4 decades.
Yeah, they
living life on life's terms.
Yeah. So,
going through every feeling that you could go through imaginable as you are. What you see is what you get. People can't even relate to that, Rod.
I appreciate that and the ability to be able to do that so much. I wouldn't want it any other way. I don't want to mask my
Amen.
feelings. I don't want to sedate them. I want to feel what God has for me to feel. I want to experience. I want to go through the emotions. I want to be able to cry.
Wow.
You know, I want to be able to hurt. I want to be able to laugh. I want to be able to get excited. You know, all of that. I don't want to be sitting there numbed under the influence of some kind of chemical, you know, to fit in.
Remarkable.
Like that. You know, I'm grateful, man. I'm just grateful.
Hey, I am grateful, man. I'm celebrating for you. You're a powerful example for me. You know what I'm saying? But let me know that I can go through life without medicating to my feeling. Because we have a feeling disease. When we're feeling good, bad, and different, we medicated that. You know what I'm saying? And we're going through what we got to go through in some pain, sitting through some pain, man, without having to say, I got to get a fifth, man. Unbelievable for me, bro. I don't know what yours was like, but mine was like, whoo, painful.
Well, the last day for me was Super Bowl Sunday, Chicago Bears, you know, and that next Monday, the next day, somebody knocked on my door and asked me, was I ready? Because I had been exposed to recovery before.
Was that 1986?
86, yeah. I had been exposed to recovery, and I had relapsed. And a lot of the things that I came into the rooms with talking about that I had never done or I wasn't as bad as. In those 9 months that I was back out there, man, I was catching up real fast with a whole lot of things I had never done in all those years.
Not yet.
So it was nothing but a downhill run for me. And, you know, my bottom was where it was and you know, never looking back. Never looking back.
How do you spend a day like today, man? Is it just a period of reflection or just, how do you feel, man, when you woke up knowing that 39 years ago you said you didn't want to live that way no more?
Well, I'm pretty much an even keel guy, Mike. So I don't go up, I don't go down. You know, my fiance, she sits up and says, you don't, you know, like you watch a football game. I watch a football game. I'm watching the game. I want to hear everything. I'm not screaming and hollering, jumping around, running across the room and missing the next play. So today I've had meetings this morning. I've got to run out to the store because, you know, I'm having a celebration for my anniversary on Wednesday, and I got to start prepping because I cook. You know, I'll be.
What's on the menu, man?
So
you pulling the grill out? That's what I want to know.
Oh, I'll be pulling the smoker out. I'm smoking some ribs, and then not beef. I'm doing chicken. I'm doing salmon, turkey meatballs, kale salad, potato salad, macaroni and cheese, string beans.
Is your mac and cheese anything like your mama's?
It's getting there. It's getting there.
Can't nobody make mac and cheese like mama.
No, she was the queen. I did some cream cheese pound cakes, 7-Up pound cakes, and I'm doing a pineapple upside down cake.
Boy stuff.
Yeah. So I plan on making.
Where you celebrating your anniversary at, Rod?
At home.
No,
man. Let him answer that question.
No. Up on Cooks Lane and Route 40, up at the church on the corner. Yeah.
You talking about William, New York?
St. William, New York. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is can y'all see this? This is my mother's macaroni and cheese recipe that is over my stove, right? My mother, grace of God, is still alive, right?
Yeah.
And so this is about 30 years old, this plate that she put on it, so that we always will remember, but we always have that recipe, and it'll never be as good because she's our mother.
Yeah.
Right. But I just wanted to show you that, Rob. Well, Rob, congratulations, man. May you have, of course, as many as you want. You know what I'm saying? And just, I get chills with you sharing that. And the fact that, first of all, you're still plugged into meetings and that others are going to celebrate with you and share their story, because it isn't really about you. It's about the person coming through that needs to hear your story as a source of inspiration, right? Because that's what keeps us clean.
Well, Mike, always we talk about it being a spiritual program, and sometimes people are not able to define what spirituality is. And things that I share, just like you, with people or the group that were shared to me by people who are no longer here and who they will never have the opportunity to meet in the flesh. Their spirit is speaking through me to them so that they can carry that on. They don't even need to know who Mike W. or Randall R. or
James W.
Doreen or Carmelita. They don't need to know them in the flesh. They get to know them in the spirit, and that keeps us going, man. That's what even when I talk about it, I talk about my predecessors, or even people that came behind me who had an impact on making me say, damn, now I get it. And see, that thing about keep coming back, more will be revealed. Even at 39 years clean, I keep coming back because more is still being revealed to me. Things that used to baffle me that I really didn't understand, but wanted to act like I understood, they're coming to me, and I don't mind being the tortoise in this thing called recovery. I don't have to be the hare that's running off fast and getting microwave recovery. I've been slow and steady and consistent. So it's
well, no doubt about that, Rob. You talk about one day at a time. You talk about the political environment you were in, the racial environment, all the environments that we're in. My recovery is the basis of what I see. And you know what I'm saying? I'm still working on stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I still have behaviors that continue to need to be refined. You know what I'm saying? Some days, we were just talking about it yesterday. A good friend of mine, been in the fellowship 24 years, and we were talking about it yesterday. We were talking about yesterday, sometimes our behavior is using behavior, but we just don't pick up. And that's the main thing, is that we have a chance that day.
Rod, is it true that some people were a dope fiend before they were a dope fiend and they blamed it on the dope?
Say that again.
But some people a dope fiend before they were a dope fiend, but they just blamed it on the dope. Meaning, were they a crud ball long before their first drink? I mean, because they clean up and they get right back to being a crud ball. But they use the drug or the drink as a justification for the inhibitions.
I don't know if people are crud balls because nobody comes out of the womb being a crud ball to me. I think it's all learned behavior and environment.
Good answer.
And some people don't go to the left. Some people stay in the middle. I mean, I grew up in a household in a community where a lot of my friends didn't take the path that I took. Some of them didn't have fathers in the house, but I had a mother and a father. And deep inside, I had great core values. There was just something about me that needed more than what I was getting. And sometimes, you know, we're just talking about dealing with things on a natural. I wanted to escape reality from time to time. And my dad used to make homemade wine. You know, he used to have them big old crocks in the basement making homemade wine. And every once in a while, even when I was a young kid, he would let me taste it, and I would feel that warm feeling coming down in my stomach, and then a calmness went over me. Now, I didn't consciously think that that was something that I liked, but you know, it looked like from around me, my father had a bar in the basement, and his friends would come over, and it looked like good grown-up stuff to do, and you know, you see movies, and you know, but even with all of that, we had guys in the community who I knew were addicts. And I would always say, I don't want to be like them. I don't want. And before I knew it, the denial was there that, yeah, I can do this, but it ain't going to get me like it got them. And before I knew it, I was caught up in the grip. So when people and I wasn't the kind of crut ball. I just wanted to, like in the core in the beginning, I wanted to get high and go to a place and relax. There's some people who, and I wanted to work for whatever my drugs. I never stole, I never stuck up anybody, anything like that. But there's some people who take a different route. You know, they want to take what you got. They get angry once they get high. They want to fight. They want to harm people. I just wasn't like that. So you know.
Do you look at the people, the brothers, sometimes sisters who stand on a corner and sling dope, coke, ready rock? Do you look at them as terrorists?
I don't. I kind of not so much feel sorry. It's just that they don't understand what they're doing to their community, and they think that, like with all these rappers out here, I get so embarrassed, man, when the kind of language and the women, the way they're dressed, and the guys, the way they talk to women, and it's just embarrassing from the Black community for the way that I was brought up.
You call a girl a B back in the day, you're gonna be fighting by 3 o'clock.
Oh, by a minute after that.
A minute after, you're gonna be fighting.
Yeah, and they call each other that. And they call their mothers, my mom's a bad, what, and that's no. And the way they dress and the way they talk, and it's just and people are gravitating. Our young people are gravitating to it, man. I live in a community, man, where young people.
But you know why they're doing that, though, Rod, right? I mean, yeah, it's all about the money, man. And who controls the media money that told them it's okay to make that message resonate? White-owned media companies that own the radio, the record companies before Diddy and Suge Knight, whatever. They didn't really own that stuff. Just like Kathy Hughes don't own Radio One. You got to look deep in the closet to see where the ownership is.
So the culprit is the media images that we get flooded with every day. That's the real demon, right?
Because we don't own the media.
Man, back in the day.
But the programming, that's the enemy. Would you agree?
Well, the audience has, to me, a responsibility adding to the value of what comes over the radio or TV because they watch it. They make money off of ratings. I was going to say, listening to Marvin Gaye and Mother, the Temptations, Ball of Confusion, or Curtis Mayfield, or even James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. Back in those days, the only thing that resonates into 2025 is the beats. The words that they were using, we're still stuck in that era. Those songs could come out today and be so on point with what's going on in the world today. And people have taken that and used it to make money. And you know what? I'm gonna be 70 years old this year. And
you gonna be what?
Yeah, you heard it.
Man, you look like you're in your 50s, man.
Well, I'm not.
He's 39, man. He's 39. Didn't you?
Bro, you look great.
39.
Thank you.
That's what 39 does for you.
To God be
no matter how much money you take, say you're a billionaire now, and you get cancer. Can that $1 billion solve your cancer?
Maybe not.
Yeah, well, my healthcare is good. How much money can you take with you when you die?
Oh,
didn't the guy from Microsoft die as a result of cancer?
I just look at that. When you live this life, and if your whole life is about stepping on people to get money, is it all worth it? Is it all worth it? I mean, can you wake up and smile and help somebody today instead of plotting how you can get more dollars? I mean, there's a price to pay for how you live. I believe that for me. And I stay in my lane, man. I'm comfortable. I don't need to have millions of dollars to be happy. I'm happy now. I'm free now. I don't have that greed that's out there, man. I want to feed some people on Wednesday. I'm looking forward to doing that.
Ron, I want to take you back to a memory. I want to take you back to 144. I want to take you back to the first time you stepped up to the plate and got a hit. I mean, the ball was white. Your practice ball was dirty. When you're in the game, that ball is white, brand new. You see the red stitching. The lime is laid down, first base, third base.
So let me say this about James Mosier. My father went to every practice and every game that I played, and that's speaking up for a Black father in our community. I started James Mosier. I used to see the parade coming down and had the old guys, the actual A.D. Anderson with his cowboy hat on and his Oldsmobile riding down Bentlow Street.
Absolutely. Forest Park Little League, Evanston Village Little League, right? A.D. Anderson right up there, Evanston Avenue.
And the first year I played on the Yankees. I played 4 years on the Yankees. I was 9 years old. And I'm thinking I'm a little baseball player because I could play in the neighborhood. But for that whole year, I did not even tip a ball. I struck out. I was ready to quit. I cried. My father said, "Hang on, don't quit. Don't you be a quitter. You're going back and play the next year." The next year, 10 years old, I moved from the platoon guy in right field, which was the weakest position, to play center field. I made the All-Star team.
You made that in 1 year?
1 year.
And it took me 3 years. I rode that bitch for 3 years.
I made the All-Star team. We won the championship that year. Success, kind of like it was great, Donnie, but to your point, it came so fast that I began to get this feeling that everything's going to come fast like that in life. And that's part of the, when I think about it, that's part of the addiction thing. When things didn't come fast to me, I got into a mode where I was not happy. And being the only boy, being a star athlete, and then going to city. And once I went up to city and I had all of these males that were up there, I wasn't a big dog no more. Even as a star baseball player, I went out on the baseball field and I had to work to be.
How did you get to school? What bus did you have to catch?
What did we catch? In the beginning, we caught the 51, the 19, and then the 3. And then they started running the 22 right off of Lafayette and Bentlow. You catch it right there on the corner. It took you all the way to city. So
I caught that 22 many a day.
Yeah, but in the beginning, man, we used to stop at North and Charles, catch the 19 over to North and Charles, and stop at it wasn't the White Coffee Pot. What was it? Little Tavern, and get a bag of those 10-cent hamburgers, and go to school from there, man. City was special. Used to have that chuck wagon down at the bottom of the hill that sold the Polish sausages. It was a meeting place for between Eastern and City in the morning before school, and then going into school with all males, man. And then I worked in the construction industry, so being a union electrician, all my life was spent around males. And when I became president of the building trades, being the first Black president in the history of the building trades, and at that time, I don't know what it looks like now, but at that time I was the only Black building trades president in the United States.
Rod, you ain't spent no time in the penitentiary?
No.
Like, you spent any time in the penitentiary?
Who? No. I spent one day in a couple of times and got out. I did get arrested a couple of times, but I never did any time.
Do you know how beautiful that is? We got a conversation with Mike like 90, you say you 70, I'm like 40. How many times can we get brothers together? Because, Rod, the conversation, you don't know nothing about Bitten. You ain't did no time. Then the cat will run off his resume. Big time in Hagerstown. And I'm not knocking him, cat. I'm just saying that's not my story.
Thank God I didn't do any time, and maybe God saw I wasn't built for that. It's like.
Oh, no, I ain't built for no penitentiary. Mike, tell me about you. You say you played baseball? I know you went.
Yeah, while Rob was talking, I actually went to look for my 1968 trophy that I have here somewhere, but I couldn't find it, and keep listening to you guys, where I was named the unsung hero of Evanston Village Little League. I played in Evanston Village. I was a back catcher.
I can do better than that.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So I have those pictures too. But these were, and I think what Rod is talking about.
That's me right there in the middle. Right there in the middle.
What kind of sneakers did y'all wear?
Jack Pretends.
We wore Jack Purcells, and we wore Nike Converses. But all seriousness aside, right? All seriousness aside,
here's another one.
Rod celebrates 39 years today, right? Clean and sober, and we talk about this as a formation of who we were as young people. He's talked about City, we talked about Little League, James Bowles, Evanston Village, Forest Park. It did not stop us from picking up, right? And so then we got to talk about why. So here we are, 40 years later, 39 years later.
Come on, Rod, I see you got another one.
And there's my dad right in the middle.
I see him right at the top.
Yep, and where am I at? Shoot.
Is Neil the coach?
No, that's Mr. Turner right there.
Oh, that's Mr. Turner?
Yeah, on the end. Then Mr. Taylor and Mr. Tommy Tyree, who was a Negro Leagues ball player. And
wow, they had Negro League coaches.
That's me standing between Turner and Taylor. We had a lot of Negro Leagues coaches.
What position did you play?
And the last year I was a pitcher.
Could you pitch?
Third year I played third base.
Did you hit anybody pitching?
Ask Maurice Tate, man. I was the baddest thing. Ask Maurice Tate. I was the baddest thing out. I was a pitcher with the most wins, most shutouts, and most valuable player. And
did you play?
When you take that resume and you go into the Pony League and you're a star in the Pony League, and then you go to City, and then now you're not the star anymore because there's guys from all over the city who got the same resume and even better than you got coming into there. And your mindset is, man, I'm going to go up here and show them and say, oh, damn.
I switched to basketball.
So hold up, Rod. Black players and white players?
Oh, yeah, we had a few white players. You know, we had a
you saying your competition was black kids from other neighborhoods?
Right, and white players. Yeah, because when we went up the city, you know, we used to play a team in Yale Heights, and they were all white. And they had a boy named Steve. Mm-hmm. He came to City, and he was a pitcher, man. And he, you know, I rocked him when we were playing Pony League ball. He was on the team, but he was a star pitcher. In 1969, we played Southeastern Police Boys Club for the citywide championship. And they had a white guy pitching for them by the name of Moose Hoss, who played for the Minnesota Twins and pitched a no-hitter in the major leagues. And we played against him. And in Pony League ball, I got a single and a triple off of him that day. But then, you know, people grow different ways. And Moose was a small kid then, but he turned big, and you know, everybody didn't grow that way. So I mean, you have a season for life. You know, different things in your life. You know, you have a growing season, you have a learning season. You may have a season of sitting back and reflecting, and then you have a season where you know, go out and I'm just embracing it all, man. I'm embracing life, man. You know, kids, grandkids, great grandkids, marriage, all of this stuff, man. It's just.
How many kids you got?
I got one son. I got one.
How many
I got 3 grandkids, 3 great grandkids, a host of godchildren, a host of kids who are not biologically mine but are mine, and the same thing with grandkids. It's just it's a beautiful thing, man. And I'm comfortable with myself. You know, a lot of times I like my solitude. I like smoking a cigar, watching the game, fireplace on, feet up, nobody around, and then I can adapt to being in the crowd. So, you know.
Do you play golf?
Only when I have to.
Mike Haynie's got a queen who can beat most men.
She could probably beat me. I know she could beat me because you know, when I play golf, by the 8th or 9th hole, I'm in the golf cart smoking a cigar and telling somebody take my shot. You can go ahead. I don't need no more. I went bowling the other night, man, with some cousins, man, and they're younger, in their middle 40s and whatever like that. And
I know we love that bowling alley y'all had down there in Lafayette.
We had a wonderful time, you know, and they were surprised that I was coming, and it just felt good for them to embrace me being there and having fun with them, and there was no drama. But we got there at 5 o'clock, and we left about 8:45, and I was glad that we were leaving because I saw the night crew coming in. You know what a night crew is? You know, they come in with the hoods and pants down off, you know, and the girls, and the music changed and all that. So it's time for me to go. You know,
Mike Haynie, take us on home. Where are we going with this?
Hey, where I'm going is just celebrating God, man. You know, living life on life's terms for 39 years.
What goes through your mind as you hear him talking about back in the day?
Hey, man, I reflect. You know, like I said, took me back to Evanston Village Little League. Me not having a father attend any of my games. My mother didn't miss a game of mine.
Hold on. But you did have a daddy, though.
Yeah, he was in Vietnam doing 3 tours.
My dad was a World War II vet.
My dad was Mr. Mills, Mr. Cruz, you know, and other Mr. Murphy,
Yeah.
you know, and Mr. Dabney and other men, Mr. Chesbury, other men that substituted as a result of us being in that family. I spent as many nights at their house. They whipped my ass as many nights as days as my own dad did, probably more because they was around me, elbowed me, man. You know, that's sense of community, man. But in spite of that, I was lost and now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. Because I had to go through what I went through in spite of that upbringing that made me feel good. I went through 20 active years of addiction, right? To get to a point where my eyes are open to the world, you know, and I don't have to go along to get along.
What do we tell our young men today?
Man, it's not so much of what you tell them, it's will they listen. I sit down. I'll just share this real quick. We got a young kid who's coming to our meeting, and he had gotten into some trouble. 19 years old when he came there, and I just saw me and him at 19 years old, and we took him under our wings. And I don't know if he could relate to, guys in their 60s and their 70s, but we tried to tone it down to try to meet him at the level of his needs. This young kid had to go to court back in December, and he was facing some time, even though it was his first offense. He could have got thrown under the bus. So I took the time to write a letter to the judge. I took the time to travel to Annapolis to speak on his behalf, that he had been attending meetings and that he was doing the right things. He had joined the group. The judge, commented on my testimony. I actually knew the prosecutor for the state. Didn't acknowledge that because you don't do that, but I knew him, he knew me. And the kid got off, man. He got off with some probation. I didn't get a thank you. I didn't get a phone call. I didn't get a Merry Christmas. I didn't get a Happy New Year. I haven't seen him at the meeting since that day. So I don't know what you do when you're trying to. Some people will catch you on, man. Some people are ready. Some people just aren't. There are some young people who want a way out, who are looking for what Mike was talking about, a mentor, somebody who they can hold on to, who will guide them. But we got to be patient and take the time to deal with these young people, because at 19, 20 years old, I thought I was grown and knew it all. And it was hard for me to listen to somebody who I felt like had messed their life up. Now they want to tell me how to fix mine. So
wow, that's powerful, man. And I listen to what Rod says, and he has been thanked. It may have been God, the grace of God that thanked him, and it wasn't that young man. And that's why we're sitting here celebrating this 39 years. But it's a powerful example. So you can't tell people what you can show them by an example in your life. So I walk my talk. You know what I'm saying? It beats me opening my mouth trying to get through to a knucklehead. I got 2 sons, man. You know what I'm saying? My emotions take the better of me, and it becomes an emotional conversation. But yet, when I just walk what I talk, they ask me how I got to, or how I've done what I've done, then I'll share with them. So it's better for me to live as a powerful example, Doc.
Thank you, Rod, for helping people, because somebody helped us.
Amen.
People we don't even remember. And I imagine there was a time I didn't say thank you. I mean, manners. As I hear you talking, the one thing we cannot lose is manners. Thank you. Excuse me. Please. No, thank you. You're welcome. basic manners that will save Black America.
Yeah, I had no idea what my day was going to be like. I had a plan for this day, but I didn't know this was going to be happening. I just thank God that I had the opportunity, and Donnie, you thought enough of me to call me this morning, ask me to participate.
Thank you for being my big brother, man.
My man.
You always told me James Mosier for life. Plus, I needed to know somebody down Bentlow when I was selling them newspapers, because them cats down Emerson and Warwick tried to take my money, and that wasn't going to happen. I might have got punched in my face, but they ain't get my money.
City forever, brother.
I'm sorry, when you say Polly, what? Okay, I'm all right.
Donnie.
Thank you for joining us today. Mike Haynie, any final thoughts before we go home?
Hey, man, I'm just grateful for both of you, man. You got my day off to a good start.
Mike, let's get together, man. You know where I'm at. You got my number, man. Let's let's burn one.
I will be in touch with you, man. And you said Wednesday, what time?
6:30.
Okay.
Yeah, 6:30. My man.
I'm proud of you. I'm proud to know you, and I'm glad you're in my life. Good
Take
morning,
care,
world.
God bless.